from the breast cancer walk.
Live from VentureX Studios, it's JP, Kathy, and the crew.
Well, good morning and welcome to JP, Kathy, and the crew. JP will be on with us shortly. We have got Dr. Norm Clothier who will be on with us here momentarily as well. So we've got some Cowboys football to talk about today. Early happy Thanksgiving to you and yours. We hope you're going to have a blessed Thanksgiving, and Dr. Clothier is here to help us with that. We're talking a little heart health, and I think it's kind of ironic, but then this is Dr. Clothier's sense of humor, to be talking about heart health when we're about to have like the largest, most ginormous meal of the year. So good morning to you, Dr. Clothier, and welcome.
Good morning. Thank you. Yes, overindulgence that is planned is really a special thing.
Yes,
I think
it is. So heart health and, any tips to keep us healthy? I mean, obviously, there's still people who are concerned about COVID. I'm finding on social media more and more people aren't getting together with their family because they're still upset about the presidential election. So, the irony that's out there.
How sad. Yeah, it really is. So don't let things like that interfere with good family time. And,
Amen.
I've often that it just because you're family doesn't mean you have to be friends, but it sure doesn't mean you have to be enemies. And I think that it's a great time of year to think about forgiveness, maybe, and setting things aside. And, you're right about, I hear all the time stories about people who can't get along with their family, or they're dreading it because, their sister, their aunt, whoever, their uncle is going to be there. And I think that is very sad. And I'd encourage people to mentally just plan to put aside any differences and enjoy the time. And I think maybe a wise part of that, medically speaking, would be also don't overindulge to the point where you're sick.
Right.
And, it's amazing to me how many people tell me, I'll get on track after Thanksgiving, or really after Christmas. Well, really after New Year's, because, I'm just going to eat everything I want. I always eat till I'm sick, and I want to do that. And, that doesn't even make sense. If you start thinking about what people are saying in that, I think it's, there's no point in eating until you're sick. And so I thought we'd talk about heart disease in general today, because it's a fair warning to people. And there is actually a statistic that is true, that the highest rate of heart disease actually comes on a holiday in terms of ER visits and acute syndromes, but it's actually Christmas. But a lot of the groundwork for that, I think, is laid at Thanksgiving. So I think, the season of indulgence is what accelerates into Christmas being a high rate of heart disease. But certainly we see that a lot around Thanksgiving too. And that is, obviously the indulgence side, probably some degree of stress, probably some degree of people like skipping their medicine on a holiday because they just don't think about it, or they don't think it's as important. Things like that do happen. But I thought we'd talk about the heart in general. So the heart, is obviously critical to life. It pumps the blood through the body. It keeps oxygen going through the body, and that is very important in the brain. We talk a lot about stroke risk and such. It's also very important to the kidneys, very important to the liver, very important to the gastrointestinal tract in terms of keeping the function of the body going. And maybe particularly if you're going to indulge a little bit more in something that you're not used to. So you need, blood flow to be healthy and oxygenating to the entirety of the tissues of the body. So when we start talking about heart disease, there are many different categories. And it's almost like talking about cancer. You can't talk about it without defining the subsets. And so some babies are born with heart disease. They're born with malformations of the heart or a hole in the heart between the chambers, and have to have things done to care for them and sustain their heart health. Some babies need heart transplants because their heart's so malformed. So that's not really something that we're talking about in terms of the specific heart disease around the holiday, but it's still an important thing to realize. Heart disease can occur at any age. And so then we start talking maybe more recently because of vaccines and viruses and disease about myocarditis. Myocarditis is inflammation of the heart muscle, and that has been known long before COVID and long before COVID vaccines, but it's brought more discussion to the table about it, and that is something you do expect to recover from. Many people with mild myocarditis actually don't even realize it, but it's inflammation of the heart lining. Then there can be a worsening condition, though, that's from viruses usually, most specifically from the Coxsackie virus, which is called a cardiomyopathy, and that's where the heart muscle gets ill over time from destruction from a virus. I want to specify that's not specific in terms of the COVID virus, because that's the only virus people talk about most of the time now. But there is a long-term syndrome of heart weakening, and you may know people who have been on heart transplant lists as adults because of cardiomyopathy. And then there's so-called hypertensive heart disease, which is from too much high blood pressure over time, making the heart muscle get too big, too thick to pump effectively, and that can lead to congestive heart failure. Congestive heart failure is a serious syndrome, sometimes leads to the need for a pacemaker or a pump to the heart or a heart transplant, and certainly to what many people dread, which is a few medicines to take each day to kind of keep the heart pumping effectively and keeping too much fluid from building up in the body and such. But then, of course, the big one is coronary atherosclerosis, or blockage of the arteries. A lot of people used to call it hardening of the arteries. It's plaque deposition that narrows blood vessels, and that's the one that you really can flare with too much indulgence. And you could, presumably go to your Thanksgiving meal, way overeat, way overdo the calories, the sodium and the various different categories of overindulgence, and plug an artery of the heart. And of course, many people are familiar with the term, though it's a sexist term, the widowmaker, which can be a widower maker. That's where it's not men only, but you can get an acute blockage of the left anterior descending artery of the heart, the main blood flow of the heart, and that one is frequently fatal. There's a scary statistic that 80% of first heart attacks are fatal, and those are first heart attacks involving that left anterior descending artery, and that's why it's referred to colloquially as the widowmaker. And of course, if you have an acute blockage there and 80% chance of death with the first heart attack, you may not have any particular warning that you have heart disease, but you got to be really careful. And I do see left main disease in people who don't expect it in any way. They have just maybe a family history, maybe a bit of a history of being around smoke or smokers for a while. Smoking is an incredibly high risk factor for heart disease. And they may have high cholesterol that they haven't worried about because some neighbor told them that cholesterol medicine is bad for them, and they just have a clogging of that artery maybe at 42 years old or 44 or 50, way too young. And so, I think it's important to know your risk factors and reduce those, and those are basically if you have any degree of tobacco use, stop.
Right.
That's a huge one.
And so vaping or any of that, because I know there are so many people out there that still, and you had done a number of shows for us about vaping and the horrors of it. anything
Yeah.
like that, anything that gets that nicotine and tobacco into your body is going to not only impact your lungs, but also your heart. So I
Yeah.
still hear people getting confused on that, Dr. Clothier, and I don't know how anybody's unclear on that at this point.
Yeah. Let me point out, that's a great question line to talk about, is the tobacco, smoke, inhalation, vaping risk.
Right.
And that is, the lungs are made to inhale air and to exhale air such that oxygen exchange can occur. And once you add smoke, and let me emphasize too, that's tobacco smoke, marijuana smoke, whatever it is, whatever hallucinogen or other drug particle you inhale,
Yep.
it is risk. And marijuana smoke is actually statistically riskier than cigarette smoke. And the thought is it's because people apparently tend to inhale and hold, hoping that they can get as high as possible
Right.
with that. And, it is a significant risk factor for lung and heart disease. And then when vaping came along, the initial thought, the sales point, frankly, to vaping was, if you vape a little bit, you will give up your cigarettes and you'll, in a week or two, you'll be clean. Well, here's the problem is nobody quit. And so
Right.
they either smoke and vape, or they vape all the time, or they smoke again because vaping got, a little more expensive, or they just didn't like it as much, or whatever the factors are. And the actual rate of somebody quitting tended to be, the statistical odds of quitting were very low. And over time, that's what I've seen is former smokers of cigarettes now are smokers of vaping. And, I call it smoking because it's remarkably similar, and you're inhaling a lot of fluid, a lot of steam, essentially, and that blocks oxygen absorption at the lung. And that strains the heart, strains the lung. We're all still in medicine, still afraid of what kind of infections we'll see in people who vape, because it's not natural to have a high percentage of fluid in the lung.
Right.
And there are fungal infections. You may remember Legionnaire's disease from the famous American Legion conference years back that killed several people from a new bacteria that hadn't yet been identified. And it was from too much moisture in the atmosphere of the building they had their conference in, and it carried infection to the members who were otherwise susceptible, mainly because of age, to health problems, and many got ill and died before the infection could even be identified. And so moisture in the lungs is a problem. So
Yes.
my recommendation would be breathe air and stop altogether.
There you go.
Yeah, and it's how we are made to function with oxygen exchange. Let me make this little reminder too, that there is no backup plan to the body for other oxygen exchange.
Right.
We don't have gills, we don't have accessory lungs sitting around that you can turn on when you wear your other ones out. And, you just don't want to get into chronic pulmonary disease. And the chronic lung disease is actually a huge risk factor for heart disease. And the reason, of course, being that the heart must pump the blood that is oxygenated, going through the lung, pick up the oxygen, then out to the body. And when there's not much oxygen and the body needs more, the brain needs more and tells the heart pump more, it wears out the heart in that process. And of course, the heart, and this is what I wanted to get to on heart disease too, the heart has its own blood supply. When you hear of a bypass surgery, it's not bypassing the heart, it's bypassing blockage on the arteries that encircle the heart to provide the heart with its own oxygen supply. And so if those become blocked and the heart can't pump because it doesn't have oxygen, even though it's pumping blood through it, it needs a blood supply around it. So the idea of like a 3, 4, 5 vessel bypass, you may have hear of people having 4 bypass artery surgery, or
Right.
whatever term people use. There's not really a significant difference between 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, whatever. It's just that there's blockage and different people have different anatomy. And sometimes you need several blood vessels to be bypassed. So There is the older style, or the older new style of opening an artery with angioplasty, like a balloon angioplasty to push the plaque out of the way and try to get blood flow. That's not necessarily long-term success because the reasons for plaque to be in the artery often still exist. So then there are stents. A stent is like a little pipe put into a blood vessel to allow passage of fluid, in this case blood, through that blockage. And then, of course, ultimately you may have to have an artery that actually you kind of give up on and you bypass it. So
Right.
you put a new blood vessel at the, prior to the blockage point until past the blockage point, and you really hope that that works. And, all those things are based on reducing the reasons. You hope to reduce the reasons that you had heart disease in the first place, and of course, providing oxygen to the heart. So the real goal should be don't get there. You want to prevent
Right.
heart disease. And that is, again, we're talking about reduce all forms of inhalation of substances other than good old oxygen. That is to watch blood pressure and treat blood pressure before it becomes a crisis, and keep blood pressure normal, keep cholesterol normal by whatever means you can. Only the medicines Indian statin, the statin class, the HMG-CoA reductase inhibitor class, only those are associated with prevention of heart disease in studies so far. So there are other ways to reduce cholesterol. It doesn't necessarily reduce heart disease, but at least you can reduce some of the plaque that makes a difference. And part of that may be that the people that end up on statins have significantly higher rates of cholesterol, levels of cholesterol, and so they're at risk. And then, of course, inactivity, being overweight and inactive is a risk factor. And the one you really need to change that is hard to put a finger on, but that's stress. There is stress is a magnifier. It will make any disease worse, I think, just because often people just neglect their health if they're under stress. And then the one you can't change, of course, is family history.
Right.
And that's where you just have to acknowledge it and deal with the risk factors. Don't try to be the anomaly. Try to face the truth of your heart, of your family risk, and try to make changes based on that.
Yeah, well, and you've actually got quite a few comments on the feed this morning. Anne, and she's following your lead, which you talk about all the time starting in the summer, and that is stay hydrated. That, water is good for the heart, and staying hydrated is extremely healthy. And then Fred Nort said he goes to the cardiologist once a year and gets his heart tested out just to prove to people he has a heart. So there's that.
I hope he has the card showing that, 'cause
Yes.
otherwise nobody believes. Yeah. So, but and that does bring up a good point. Is that planning for the Thanksgiving indulgence? If you have a glass of water or two before you eat your big indulgent meal, you'll feel more full sooner. You'll be more hydrated. You'll feel more full, and you won't overdo the calories. And I think it's fair to enjoy foods you love at Thanksgiving. I always say, if you see something that you just don't like, be willing to skip it. If your, Uncle Joe makes a mincemeat pie that you just hate, don't take a piece and choke it down. You could, take a piece and excuse yourself and sort of have it accidentally slide off into the trash. And, or you could just say, I'm coming back this year and thank you for making it, but I'm not eating this trash. And, or excuse me, the food you made. And I think there are almost always things that you probably don't like, but you see and you think, I better take some of that. And, even if you have to take it, put it on your plate, you don't have to overeat. And I think, too, go out for a walk in the morning, go for a walk in the evening of Thanksgiving. Just utilize the metabolic process in the body to help you process the food that you may overindulge on. So I do want to spend a quick moment on viral protection. It's too late now to get a vaccine that'll be protective for 3 days from now. That time frame just isn't appropriate. So I hope you've already had the vaccine 2 weeks ago or more. And if not, then I think it is proper to fully assess whether you are a health risk to your family. get a test for COVID if you're traveling or if you're seeing somebody you're not usually around, or if you have any symptoms. And I think that's just fair. You don't want to get there, see your grandmother, infect her, have her end up in the hospital or dead. It's just not worth that risk. I know I had so many people tell me stories of last year when things were much more on sort of a shutdown mode, that they, would reluctantly do a test before they went to see their parent, grandparent, great uncle, whatever. And so many were surprised they ended up being positive. And several of those, maybe did a test on Monday and got sick on Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday when they were already travel.
Yep.
And you just have to be real about that. I hate it for people not to be able to get together for holidays, but it's not wise to get together and impact people. And, you just have to be careful. We are seeing an increase in Europe and in the northeastern states, a little bit along the northern edge of America, northern border area where it's been colder earlier. And there's a significant surge in Europe right now. And unfortunately, with COVID, I should say, with these patterns that we've only had for 2 years now, each time we've had an increase in infections in America, there has been an increase in infections in Europe prior to that first.
Right.
And so I think we have to be honest and realize there probably is another increase in infections coming. And I don't think that's too surprising. It's because of cold weather, being indoors more, and it's certainly because of travel with Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's. We all have to be careful. Wash your hands. Be protective, be socially distant where you need to be in a room with high ventilation, open windows, get outside if you possibly can, take advantage of breezes to blow the virus away from people instead of into people if you're indoors. And, you just have to be very careful about the viral load and the legitimate risk of a potentially incredibly serious infection.
Right. Well, and just, better safe than sorry. Be smart about stuff. I know I go to a lot of concerts, and so I've found a place that's like a primary care kind of place. It's a place called Fast Stock in Allen. If anybody lives off of or lives near the McDermott and Central 75 area, I highly recommend this place. It is so painless. You go in and literally you tell them you tell them you don't have any symptoms, you haven't been exposed, you're there because you're going to, family function, concert, whatever the case is, and they literally get you in and out so quickly. You've got those results within like 15 minutes. It doesn't cost anything. So better safe than sorry, especially if you're going to be around somebody who's older and you've been in a big crowd or something like that. Just be smart. And like you said, get up and move around. I think it's that prolonged exposure that really, at the end of the day is what's going to, get you sick if something's going to. But then, that kind of goes into your get up and move after you eat, and you don't have to eat everything. You can take like a little bite of everything, and then, you're done, you're full. But, get up and move around, go out and walk. And then that's another reason to, just to be healthy and aware, and it helps your metabolism as well as helping you not spread the virus.
That's correct. So you want to be as smart and careful as you can. So do have a wonderful Thanksgiving.
You too.
Really to the season in a healthy way. I always just kind of worry, between winter season infection risk and overindulgence and travel that inherently increases your risk of accidents. I really hope everyone can be safe and thankful for their blessings and appreciative toward family and friends, and put away any hostility, practice some forgiveness, and just enjoy.
Agree. Very well said, Dr. Clothier. Have a blessed Thanksgiving, and we will see you soon.
Thanks.
All right. I think we've got JP coming on in with a little sports talk. So how are you this morning, JP?
Man, we've got Carter talk this morning.
So has he been a little silly? I know. I think you and I were texting each other at like 4:30. Hey, buddy. Hey, big buddy.
He says hi.
Hi,
He says,
silly.
look at me. I'm standing up on my own.
I'm big and strong. Well, and somebody was making sounds and trying to talk the other day. Oh, that was you. Oh, that was
Oh,
you.
he's not slowing. He's not slowing down. Let me just tell you, sister. He's going to be a national champion debater. I can already tell you.
I love it. I love it.
But
Well,
yeah, we decided at 3:00 this morning. I don't know if we had a nightmare or we're hungry or what,
yeah.
but we woke up crying and standing up staring at me when I got out of bed.
Ooh, so we were not happy.
Woo! Yeah, he was not happy. But so we ate 6 ounces of milk or whatever we call that, formula milk. It tastes like sweet vanilla milk. What it tastes like to me. And so we did that, and we rocked for about an hour, and then we finally fell asleep.
Oh, there you go. Well, there you go. We'll give him a big old kiss
isn't that
for us. Give him a big old kiss.
Oh, you hear me? He's wanting to be on the radio.
Fred,
He's talking back there.
I
behind
love
me.
it. I love it. Fred North says JP in the house. I love it. And we're very excited. We've got after the Christmas holidays, JP and I are going to be at a new venue and doing something a little bit different because we've lost JP to the world of truancy weekday mornings. So we're actually going to be getting together on a weeknight. This is something we'll be revealing more as time goes on, but we've been looking to do this and going to have a little fun twist on the show. I think we might still play it in the mornings. That way our morning folks can get up and I can get on and comment with you. JP can from time to time, but yeah, so a little bit of fun twist in the new 2022.
A lot of fun twists in the 2022.
Yeah, we're excited.
Maybe they can come out and have dinner with us. What?
Wait, what? What are we talking about?
What?
Okay, and then of course, hey, let me talk. Haven't had enough coffee. Of course, Coach Quigley says, "Good morning, turkeys."
Good morning.
We love you, Coach.
No doubt about it. Well, I'll tell you, Kathy, a year and a half ago, there were no sports going on.
Yeah.
And now, I don't know that you and I have enough time to go over all the sports that are going on.
We actually don't. I was perplexed on which ball cap to wear today. Of course, we will say our girl Michelle is a very happy camper. I literally texted you at the end of the Cowboy game, and I was like, okay, got to hand it to Michelle. Her team came to play yesterday, and ours did not.
Exactly. Well, interestingly enough, if you want to kick off the NFL, we can do that.
Let's get it out of the way.
All right. We can go Cowboys to begin with as well. That left tackle for the Dallas Cowboys makes a huge difference. And when your starting left tackle is not in the game, it opens up that left side for a lot of pressure. And that's what Kansas City was able to do with Dak Prescott. That left side just kind of collapsed down. And all game, Dak Prescott and the offensive coordinator was trying to figure out a way to get around it. And it just didn't happen. And as a result, the KC defense was able to dial the Cowboys in and really keep that score to a 19-9. And honestly, I thought we might score and actually might win that game in the last 2 minutes and 51 seconds. Until with a minute 45 left, we threw an interception. So, but low-scoring game, defensive game. Pat Mahomes just had a little more mustard than we did. You know what's interesting, Kathy? There was a meme that went out. People were giving Kansas City a hard time because they're 6-4, right?
Right.
And so it's funny, 6-4, and then the end of the season, Super Bowl champions.
Yep.
So it could be that Kansas City's finding its groove, about to get back into their Super Bowl run here, and the Cowboys faced a good team in the Kansas City Chiefs. And so I think a little tweaking. I think there's some injuries we're going to have to work on. We got a couple wide receivers that are out as well. In fact, our number 1, number 2 wide receiver, we'll have to wait and see what the injury report is for that. And just saddle up and get ready to go Sunday.
Yep. Yeah, we did have some injuries, but we couldn't, any play that we needed to take care of and complete, it just wasn't happening for us yesterday. It just wasn't happening.
Running game really didn't get off the ground.
Yeah.
We needed that to happen, and it didn't happen. So, you know what? Hey, you play it Sunday by Sunday, and here we go.
Yeah.
But let's stay with the NFL. So, big shocker in the NFL: Minnesota Vikings, Green Bay Packers. A lot of people talking about this game. This game was a center point for a lot of the NFL watching to see what was going to happen. And if the Vikings could stay in the hunt, and they could. Mike Zimmer's team was able to maintain and win that game 34-31 in Minnesota. And what's interesting is Mike Zimmer has now got 6 back-to-back wins. And so they are on a roll, the Minnesota Vikings are. So it's going to make that NFC North a very interesting package up there as we get closer to playoff time. But, yeah, the Vikings beat the Packers 34-31. I picked the Packers. I thought the Packers could go in and take care of business, and evidently I was wrong. Let's stay with the NFC North. The AFC comes into town for the Chicago Bears, and the Ravens beat the Bears at home 16-13. The Bears continue to spiral and not have any offense. Did you hear him talking about the Bears?
He's like, the Bears. The
What
Bears.
do you think about the Cowboys? What do you think about
Say
the Cowboys?
yay! Yay!
Because I tell y'all about the Cowboys.
Say, how about them Cowboys, Dad?
Yeah, exactly. So Cincinnati Bengals travel into the Raiders territory. Thought for sure the Raiders were going to hold on to this one. They did not. Cincinnati Bengals win that game 32-13 pretty easily. Tell you another team that's kind of gliding in right now to the playoffs is going to be the Arizona Cardinals. Of course, I mentioned that because our very own Kathy.
Oh, we're talking about Jesus' team?
No, the Arizona Cardinals. Who's playing quarterback?
Oh, our Allen High School guy. Blanking out his name. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, that's right. So the Cardinals beat the Seahawks in Seattle 23-13. Russell Wilson and his team also spiraling very quickly. So don't know that I see the Seahawks doing anything this year. It's kind of time for everybody to go back to the drawing board and kind of start over in Seattle, while the Arizona Cardinals, they are going to come down with a showdown with the resurging San Francisco 49ers. So we will see how that goes. But, very, very interesting for sure. I'm going to be curious how the West comes out of all of that, Kathy. I mean, we may end up having a team out of the West that wins the Super Bowl this year.
Well, let's take this a weekend at a time. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's just not say anything.
How did I know you were going to say that?
Let's just take it a week at a time. Thank you very much.
See, that was a cowboy. That was a cowboy thing right there. You got it. You did good, Kathy. You did good.
There you go.
There you go. All right. Let's continue the conversation. Last night's game, Steelers and the Chargers, and what a game. Holy cow. Looked like the Pittsburgh Steelers were going to dominate the football game in the first quarter. They ate up much of the clock in the first quarter, but the Chargers come out with a 41-37 win over the Pittsburgh Steelers in L.A. And so, but what a shootout. I mean, it was a heck of a game last night if you got to catch that game. Continuing on, Dolphins and Jets, neither one really makes a difference. Dolphins win 24-17. Here's a big shock. I did not pick this one. The Texans at the Titans, and the Texans beat the Titans at home 22-13. And the Titans are definitely a playoff-bound team, so very shocked by that. Detroit Lions continues their goose egg in the win column. They lose to the Cleveland Browns 13-10. They get close, but they can't seem to get it done. Also fading off is the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills started off as a favorite, Kathy. They figured Josh Allen was going to carry them in and everything was going to go great, and boom, didn't happen. Really shocked by this score. Thought for sure the Bills would take the Colts with no problem, be in the playoffs, make a run for the Super Bowl, and it's just not happening. The Patriots blanked the Falcons 25-0. Patriots resurging. That's an interesting game or a team to watch. Are they going to sneak back in the playoffs? Team that didn't start off so hot. So a lot going on. Today we've got the Giants and the Buccaneers. Don't know how much excitement is there. I wouldn't be surprised if the Giants, just because, it's St. Patrick's Day, could win and beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on St. Patrick's Day.
St. Patrick's Day?
Isn't this St. Patrick's Day, Kathy?
Coming up? No, Thanksgiving.
You're right, it's not. Oh,
Come on, man.
Yeah, the Giants don't have a chance in HE double hockey.
I was going to say, so where are those leprechauns?
Yeah, because it's not St. Patrick's Day.
No.
And they would need the gold at the end of the rainbow to beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Let's just be clear on that. Thursday's games, you got some fun ones. You got the Bears and the Lions. That is a traditional Thanksgiving Day game. I wish Barry Sanders was running the football. Walter Payton was back running the football, because that'd be an even funner game to watch. Funner, you got that funner.
Yeah,
Yeah. Raiders and Cowboys. The Raiders are going to come into Cowboy Stadium there at the AT&T, and so that should be. It should be a win. If the Raiders have taken the playbook from the Denver Broncos,
then
good luck to the Dallas Cowboys.
I'm not as cocky or confident going into this game as I was. Let's just say that.
Yeah. Well, and you have good reason. That's for sure. That's for sure. All right. But and then you have one more Thursday game. You have the evening game, Bills and Saints. That should be a good game. Again, surprised at the Bills, not surprised at the Saints. The Patriots have overtaken the Bills now in the AFC East. They are 7-4, while the Bills sit at 6-4. In the West, the Chiefs begin to make their climb. They are 7-4, and the Chargers are 6-4. In the AFC North, the Ravens are still 7-3 now with their win, and then the Bengals right behind them at 6-4. The Steelers at 5-4, and the Browns at 6-5. So that's going to be a very interesting division. Then in the AFC South, the Titans are 8-3. Again, big shock of their loss to their in-conference rival, the Indianapolis Colts. Colts are 6-5. But again, big shock there. Then let's head over into the NFC to kind of sum up what's going on with the NFC. In the NFC, the Cowboys are above the NFC East at 7-3. Eagles, they win yesterday. I predicted that. They are 5-6. The Washington 4-6, and again the hapless Giants at 3-6. In the NFC West, and one of the best records in the league, the Arizona Cardinals are 9-2, and the Rams are right behind them at 7-3. The 49ers are coming up quick. They are on a 2-game winning streak. They are 5-5. The Packers are 8-3. Again, shocked they lost to their in-conference rival, the Vikings. Vikings are now 5-5. And then you have the Buccaneers, and this is a hapless conference in the NFC South. The Buccaneers are 6-3, Saints are 5-5, and the Panthers are 5-6, and the Falcons 4-6. That wraps up our NFL coverage. Again, looking forward to this Thanksgiving game. Hopefully everybody's healthy, Kathy, and the Cowboys are back at full strength.
Amen to that. Amen to that. We need to be. And this really is, to me, momentum-wise, if we can't put a win back up on the board on Thursday, then I'm really going to be dejected. Is that a word? Is that a thing? Is that the feeling that I'm looking for?
That's a word.
I'm going to be bummed. I'm going to be bummed.
Well, yeah, especially since they're like one of the number one offenses in the league, and their defense not far behind.
Yeah.
And so, I'm surprised.
Yeah,
Fred Nord says the Cowboys will be lucky to get a touchdown this week, unless the line plays a heck of a lot better. Again, it's that left side. We need to find a left side tackle.
Yep.
They collapse that left side tackle, and then you try to adjust the line, and it's almost impossible.
Yeah, that's painful. Do we have time to get an update? I've got, on Friday we showed some pictures from Faye Curtis and her 60-mile walk. Brandy Braley, who's a member of the crew as well, was also in San Diego for the breast cancer awareness thing. Can we throw up some of those pictures from Brandy real quick? Both of these ladies, Faye Curtis and Brandy Braley, who are dear friends of ours here at JP, Kathy, and the crew, we are so proud of them. They both completed the 60-mile breast cancer awareness walk with Susan G. Komen, and just kudos, congratulations, blessings, way to go to these two rock star friends of ours. We are just so proud of y'all. This is, it's such a feat. That's 20 miles a day that they walk. It just amazing, and all the pictures and the different videos and everything that they posted over the weekend were just wonderful to look at. Very emotional. Anyways, just congratulations and way to go. Just so proud of y'all.
Yep, they show, well, at least Faye showed off her medal yesterday, 60 miles walk.
Yes. I love that. I just love it. Yeah, just good stuff.
All
Lots
right.
of fun, camaraderie, and people coming together for a good cause. So just congratulations to both of them.
Absolutely.
And everybody involved in the walk.
Absolutely. And there was a lot of people out there.
Oh, my
What a great
goodness.
place to do the walk, by the way.
Tons and tons of folks, which was great. And, JP, we were talking about this on Friday. This was the only in-person 60-mile walk, 3-day walk in the country. So that's a really big deal that they were there. So really big deal that they were there.
All right, let's go to week 12 of college football.
Dun, dun,
What
dun.
a week. What a week. I'll tell you what. Wow. Let's start off with the University of Houston, ranked number 19th in the country. They easily dismantled Memphis 31-13. Number 22, San Diego State dismantles UNLV 28-20. And then Texas A&M has Prairie View A&M come down to visit. And after Texas A&M lost to Mississippi, I think they were done playing. They put a spanking on Prairie View A&M, 52-3. Texas A&M ranked number 14th in the country. Wake Forest gets hammered by unranked Clemson, as Wake Forest will more than likely fall out of the top 25. Here's the big shocker. And, man, I tell you, Kathy, I put all my eggs in one basket on this game. Ohio State and Michigan State.
Okay. I don't even know who won.
Michigan State was in the top 10. Ohio State did. 56-7.
Wait,
it
what?
Wasn't even close. Yeah.
Oh, my
Number 2, Ohio State. In Ohio State, beats Michigan State 56-7. I was rooting so hard for Michigan State. I wanted them to make it into the top 4, and that's not happening. I was upset with this game for all you Boomer Sooners out there. Oklahoma beats Iowa State 28-21. I really wanted Iowa State to win that game and really make the Big 12 championship kind of interesting, which would have thrown Baylor right back in the mix of everything. But they lose 28-21 to Oklahoma. Oklahoma's ranked number 10 in the country. Number 1, Georgia beats Charleston, South Carolina without a problem, 56-7. Number 17, Iowa dismantles Illinois 33-23. Number 6, Michigan beats Maryland down 55-18. And Kathy, here you go. Notre Dame.
Jesus' team, even though my husband's saying no, Baylor is this year.
Oh, that's funny.
And of course, Steve Dunn says, he earlier chimed in and said, do not go to week 12. You know why that is.
So Notre Dame beats Georgia Tech 55-0. They blanked them completely. SMU, of course, falls out of the rankings. Number 4, Cincinnati absolutely dismantles SMU 48-14. Number 20, Pittsburgh beats Virginia 48-38. Number 18, Wisconsin beats down Nebraska 35-28. Here's your Cinderella story. And how do you leave them out of the conversation of being in the top 10? The University of Texas, San Antonio. They beat the University of Alabama, Birmingham 34-31 to remain undefeated, Kathy.
Wow.
That is the University of Texas at San Antonio.
There you go.
So, and they're ranked number 15th in the country. I think they've got an argument to be ranked number 10. I don't care what their schedule looks like. College football is still college football.
Right.
Number 3, Alabama beats Arkansas 42-35. Arkansas will remain ranked number 25. Alabama's not as good as they used to be, and they've gotten some very close games. A&M, of course, beat them. But the number 3 ranking, I don't know if they deserve it. But that's another story, another day, I guess. Number 24, North Carolina State beats Syracuse 41-17. BYU beats Georgia Southern. Gail, that's for you. Number 13, BYU beats them 34-17. Number 23, Louisiana beats Liberty 42-14. And so the Baylor Bears is our conversation next. Does Baylor deserve a better ranking than number 9 in the country? They beat Kansas State 20-10. They beat Oklahoma. Will they get a shot at the Big 12? Kathy, do they deserve a shot?
You tell me. You tell me.
Well, Michael will tell us both that they do. Interestingly enough, though, it's going to be interesting to see if Baylor is out because of OU and Oklahoma State winning out the rest of the year.
I was going to say, yeah, because
so we'll
I'll be anxious to see what happens there. Yeah, Baylor fans are really, hoping for that chance. Baylor has looked great this year. I mean, they've just had some amazing games, and they've looked superb. They really have. You got to hand it to them. So, sick 'em Bears.
Defense has been amazing.
Yep.
Yeah, sick 'em Bears.
Well, and what do you say? You always say defense wins games. And Susan Schuler, hello, she says, go Bears. Sharon says, go Pokes. The voters are all Okies.
Go Roadrunners.
The voters are all Okies, is what Fred said. He said that's why UTSA is not in the top 10, LOL. So there you go. Yeah,
So
and I think Carter's pulling for the Bears.
Oh, he is. He just said sick 'em Bears. He just didn't hear it.
He just did this. He just did sick 'em Bears.
For you. I've become a translator. I'll translate for you. So, and then just your last scores for college football. You've got actually, Oregon was number 4. They get hammered by number 16 Utah, 38-7. That was a shocking game. And then Oklahoma State breezes through Texas Tech, 23-0. That's your college football roundup. Now, Kathy, just to show you how busy sports are this year, college wrestling is worth reporting on.
Wait, what? Interesting.
Yes, college wrestling. I mean, the crowds are packed in the gyms, and these guys are wrestling, no masks on, which would be interesting anyways. But Iowa and Penn State showing their dominance in college wrestling. Stanford cracks into the top 25. And so, yeah, I'm going to report on that as we're going.
Okay.
Because
interesting.
It's a lot of cool stuff and interesting stuff going on. Just to give you kind of an idea of the rankings right now, and this should be no shock to anybody that knows wrestling, right? Iowa's ranked number 1. Penn State's ranked number 2. Big shock there. Missouri, now that's a bit of a surprise. Missouri's ranked number 3. Number 4, Michigan, not surprised there. Number 5, NC State, little surprise there. Number 6, Oklahoma State. Surprised Oklahoma State's not number 3 right now in the country. Because they have one of the most, along with Iowa and Penn State, one of the most premier wrestling programs in the country. So a little surprised by that. But yeah, and then Nebraska qualifies out as your number 10 college wrestling team in the country. Isn't that interesting?
Very, yeah. I guess I didn't realize that it had picked back up so much, and especially with COVID, I guess, because that's one of those your one-on-one contact. I'm assuming most of these athletes have probably get COVID tested. Yeah, Susan said, "Give us more Carter." Hello.
Carter says that he is supporting Iowa versus Penn State in the national championship.
Oh, there you go. So he is talking. He came out talking in full sentences about football.
Yeah. Yes, he did. Just real quick, let's talk about the Mavericks for a minute. Mavericks not doing so hot. They lose to the Clippers in LA, 97-91. And the Lakers beat Pistons 121-16. I'm not going to go into too much detail about the NBA just yet. We'll let them get fired up and warmed up. I wanted to mention, though, the NBA because of LeBron James, and that's why I talked about the LA Lakers. He's got an opinion on the Rittenhouse trial. Did you catch that?
No, I don't.
Yeah,
what did he say?
When Rittenhouse took the stand and was crying, he tweeted out how fake it was and where are the tears at and all of that. You believe that?
Unfortunately, I do believe it. Yeah, I
It's
stay
like,
away
first
from
of all,
reading anything about him. Yeah. Wow.
first and foremost,
Wow.
what legal knowledge do you have?
Yeah.
Number one. Number two, you're just part of the mob now,
Yeah.
the mob mentality. So, yeah, no fun.
Yep. Wow.
No fun at all. Yeah, let's go ahead and quickly cover the NCAA men's basketball rankings. Oops, I went to the wrong thing, Kathy. I went to standings. We don't want that. That's a lot of those. All right,
We
let's
just want
cover your
rankings.
top 10. Yeah, top 10 in college basketball. Number one, Gonzaga. They're 4-0. They still are doing their thing. UCLA is number two. UCLA is trying to reestablish dominance in college basketball. Number three, Kansas. No surprise there. Michigan earns the number 4 spot, and I'm not sure I understand why. Michigan is 3-2. They're 1-1 at home. Not sure why they get to be number 4, and why Baylor, the Baylor Bears, are not number 4. Your Baylor Bears are 4-0 right now, and they are ranked number 9. But why aren't they ranked number 4? And so, things that make you go.
Hey, real quick, Coach Quigley said LeBron got ejected last night from the game versus Detroit.
Good. He needs to get rejected and ejected more often.
Yeah.
So, and Steve Dunn says the University of Texas men's soccer team playing for the national championship against BYU.
There you go.
I didn't know that.
Well, all right.
You
Thank you for the update, Steve.
Yeah, and we got some fans in the wrestling world.
We do. I'm noticing that a lot of folks know some stuff about wrestling, so that's good stuff.
Yeah. Coach Quigley says he's got a freshman wrestler at Drexler. And then, of course, Fred North pipes in about Penn State. And
love it.
He's almost right. We'll see how my Oklahoma State Cowboys do. So, all right, back to college football or college basketball. Number 5, Villanova. Number 6, Purdue. Purdue's 5-0 as well. Duke is 5-0. Looks like Duke has resurfaced again after going submarine on us. And then number 8 is the Texas Longhorns. They are 3-1. Of course, we football fans are turning to basketball. Just letting you know. After 6 in a row with the Longhorns. And then to finish out the top 10 is the Illinois Fighting Illini. So that is your top 10 in college basketball. Kathy, we can't let Thanksgiving go without talking about some of the craziest foods or craziest moments in Thanksgiving.
Yeah, and we want to hear from the crew. What are y'all doing for Thanksgiving? And do you have any traditions that you keep no matter what? What's your favorite food? All that kind of good stuff. So ping us on social media and let us know. Carter said his is giggling.
Right now.
He said his is giggling.
He wants to be a part, man. He said, make me a part of all this. He's so funny. He's getting ready to go to school.
All right. He's big boy.
All right.
Yeah, there's some fun when you and I decided to do, odd or unique traditions. There's some things I never thought of, and like there's one in particular, and I know my dad's watching us right now. I think we should try this on Thursday with family. Frozen turkey bowling. So you put down like
frozen turkey bowling.
Yes, and I think that sounds like fun. It says frozen turkey bowling is exactly what it sounds like. In place of balls and pins, folks roll frozen turkeys towards rows of bottled soft drinks. This was invented in 1988. The pseudo sport is played best down the aisle of a frozen section of a local grocery store. Of course, it can be played anywhere else. The supermarket employees do not tend to enjoy this. I would not think so. But that's one of those things you can even get like a kind of the slip and slide. Remember those from when we were kids, John? And you could do like a big old plastic kind of slip and slide thing. Put some empty beer bottles and take a frozen turkey, even though frozen turkeys are a hot commodity this year with the supply chain demand down. But anyways, I saw that and I was like, that's actually something I could see my family trying on Thursday. Hey, big guy!
So we think that we need to do a hot Cheetos turkey.
Everything is hot Cheetos. Like Applebee's has an advertisement, JP, for hot Cheetos wings. Everything's being covered with hot Cheetos.
Well, and this thing looks like it is flaming hot. Let me just tell you.
I don't know about that.
Turkey, hot Cheetos turkey. Hell no.
Well, and I
Or how
think
about
those
a
are supposed to be
Pringles?
bad for you too.
They're not real. No,
Like
they're
that
not good for
orange
you.
dye or something. Isn't there something really bad in hot Cheetos?
Yeah, it's a red dye. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
not. Yeah,
something
red
like
dye number
that.
5. Not.
Yeah.
How about a Pringles Thanksgiving flavored chip? I don't even know what that would taste like or look like.
Is it like savory
Carter
and
says,
sweet? Does it have like a turkey flavor, a stuffing flavor? To me, that may be just too convoluted. I don't know.
I agree. How about pumpkin pie pops? No, that sounds pretty good.
No, I'd be in line for that. What about you, Carter? It's like,
Carter
okay,
says,
sure.
yes, amen.
Sure.
He says amen.
Sure.
He says amen. He says, I'm going to climb up on that one. So how about turkey and cranberry cupcakes? Oh,
You
who comes
know,
up with that?
unless it's kind of like a the chicken and waffles cupcake, you know, or I had a cupcake. Emily and I were shopping, I think it was at Stonebriar one time, and we had a cupcake that had it was like a bacon maple syrup cupcake, and it was actually really good.
Well, I'll tell you, how about toast turkey and gravy soda?
No, shut it down. No
Are you shutting that
turkey
down?
flavored
No?
soda.
How about a turkey dinner layer cake?
Okay, so is there like turkey on one layer, stuffing on one layer, biscuits on one layer, gravy on one layer?
I'm thinking like yellow cake and turkey.
Wait, what? No, I don't
I'm
know.
thinking cake.
I don't know about that. Now I could see
telling you,
layering
man.
your stuff. Like I do that in a leftover like little turkey sandwich the next day.
Well, yeah, I do that too, but now I'm thinking they're talking like a cake.
Yeah. Nope.
I don't know.
No.
I don't know.
Have you ever had a turducken?
Yes.
Yes, we baked one of those. I think I got one at like a Buc-ee's or something a while back on a road trip back from Austin. Yeah, turducken's good. I think a lot of folks do turducken for Thanksgiving instead because and this is odd. You like turkey, don't you?
I do. I love turkey.
I do too. I love turkey. I very much look forward to Thanksgiving. My family can cook like nobody's business. Our turkeys are always phenomenal. I didn't realize there's in researching some of this online, there's a lot of people who do not like turkey and they go for something else.
Really?
They do like a pot roast or they do chicken or duck or they do something completely different other than turkey for Thanksgiving. I don't know. I guess I'm such a big fan of turkey. I can't imagine not having turkey on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, no, I love turkey. I love ham too on Thanksgiving.
I love ham. It does not like me. The sodium, the older I get, oh my gosh, it kills me. Like I can't even get my rings off the next day.
I believe it.
Drink
I mean,
more
it's,
water.
Yeah.
Drink more water.
All right. How about this? How about traditions, Thanksgiving traditions state by state? I didn't
Oh,
know
yes,
this.
yes.
So here we go. Alabama they are famous for their bread rolls at Thanksgiving.
Right.
And it looks pretty darn amazing to me. Like I could do this. I could do this. Let me see here. Let me see if I can show
Can you? Yeah. Can you show this?
Here we go.
Oh, here we go. Oh,
Oh,
those look delicious. Let's do that full
Don't those
screen,
look way
Brett.
good?
Yeah, that looks really good.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
delicious. All right, so that's Alabama. Let's see what Alaska. Oh, Alaska does cinnamon rolls.
Love cinnamon rolls.
That's what they wake up on Thanksgiving Day to. Warm, gooey cinnamon rolls. Ooh, Arizona has the turkey. Look at that. That looks pretty darn good.
That looks good.
Let's see, Arkansas, turkey spaghetti. There's something different. Arkansas is known for tossing their Thanksgiving turkey in with spaghetti. It's the best of both worlds.
Interesting.
And why are we not surprised at this? California is Brussels sprouts.
There you go. I've really come to like Brussels sprouts, though, especially if they're cooked the right way. I've really come to dig Brussels sprouts. So, but yeah.
I like them too. I like little cabbages. But it would only be California, of course. And then let's see. How about this? Oh, Delish has their own cookbook commercial. Let's skip the commercial. Ooh, Colorado glazed ham. That's the ham I was talking about.
Yep, there you go.
Gotta love that. Connecticut cranberry sauce. Not surprised there at all.
I love good
potato
cranberry
casserole.
sauce.
See, not this year with sweet potato casserole in Delaware. This year it's going to be hyperinflation sweet potato casserole.
Everything is, yeah. Boy, howdy, that's the truth.
Yeah. Oh, Florida is key lime pie.
Oh, and theirs is so good.
And there's the peach dump cake in Georgia.
Oh, no, that looks great.
Doesn't that look great?
That looks really
Hawaii,
good.
Sausage stuffing. Not surprised there. That's a good call there. I thought maybe something like sausage and pineapple.
Yeah, sausage. My stepmom makes a sausage stuffing that is just out of this world. If I had to say what's the one side that I would not miss on Thanksgiving, it would be her stuffing. It's really, really good.
Yeah, I make mine is sausage based as well.
Oh, hey, Coach Quigley has a good question. Stuffing or dressing? Do you call it stuffing or dressing?
I call it dressing.
I think we call it stuffing. I'm trying to think what term we use more. I think stuffing in my family. That's interesting. And then some of the folks are chiming in from the crew. What do you watch and what do you record on Thanksgiving Day besides football? And that would be for us Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade, and then also the dog show. Now we've got people saying Miracle on 34th Street.
Yep. I'm all about that too.
Of course, Michelle's pumpkin and bourbon. Michelle, I love it.
Yeah. All right. Idaho does biscuits. Now, I'm surprised they don't do potatoes.
Oh, seriously? Yeah. Why wouldn't they be a big old potato state? Huh.
I guess not. Not for Thanksgiving. Illinois is mashed potatoes. And there you go.
So there's
Indiana
that.
is corn pudding. The Hoosier State breaks out corn. Iowa is pumpkin bars. Now that looks good. I could do a pumpkin bar.
Oh, there's a difference between dressing and stuffing? Coach, please do tell.
Yeah, there is a difference.
I believe it.
But when it comes to easy appetizers, Kansas is keen on ham and cheese pinwheels.
I bet those are good. I bet those are really good.
Kentucky does chicken and dumplings.
Okay.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Louisiana does cornbread stuffing. Maine, chicken pot pie. Why am I not surprised it's not something like lobster chop pot pie? Huh. Maryland, not surprised. There you go. Maryland stayed with its theme. Crab cake bites.
Yum. I bet those are really good.
And Massachusetts, they stay with theirs. Chowder.
Yes.
They're known for their chowder, so there you go.
Which is superb.
Yeah, superb. And then let's see. We got Michigan is chili. Guess I'm not real surprised there. Minnesota green bean casserole. That looks good.
Let's give it full screen, Brett, for those so everybody can see those.
Oh, look at that. Toasted pecans in Mississippi.
Oh, now I love toasted pecans. And then you can tell, is it pecans or pecans? You can tell if you're from Texas.
Oh, it doesn't matter to me. All taste the same to me. In Missouri, one of their favorite things to do is the breakfast casserole in the morning.
See, I do I like on Thanksgiving, for sure on Christmas morning, I always do a big breakfast casserole. Actually, Emily, she's traveling and she went to spend the week in Thanksgiving with her boyfriend's family. And you'll be proud of Emily, she's got 3 different recipes, including a breakfast casserole she's trying out this week.
How fun.
I know, I like that.
I do too. All right, roasted vegetables in Montana.
Oh,
and those have got pecans in them as well.
Interesting. That actually does look really good.
Oh, Nebraska does monkey bread before the pumpkin pie.
My family. We've been big monkey bread fans for a long time. And Pillsbury now actually has a monkey bread that you can bake yourself in the oven, so that you can make and bake yourself.
All right, peanut butter cookies. I don't know what state this is from, though.
Okay, huh.
Maybe I just threw that in to throw it in there. New Hampshire is blueberry pie. Not surprised there. New Jersey, crab cake burgers. Interesting. Coach, does that line up with the family in New Jersey?
That's Thanksgiving.
They say it's a classic.
Interesting.
They say it's a classic.
Okay.
New Mexico, apple pie empanadas. Not surprised there. They look wonderful as well.
They do look good.
The cheesecake.
There you go.
And there you go.
There you go.
There you go.
I
North
love a good
Carolina
cheesecake.
cornbread. Not surprised there. North Carolina with their cornbread. North Dakota, an apple crisp. Ooh, that looks good.
Oh, that looks
There
very
you go.
good.
Ohio, corn dip.
Huh.
Huh.
That's interesting. That's
That
first
is
of all, that just doesn't, because to me, like that's more of a kind of a Tex-Mex dish. So I just don't envision that there. So that's odd, huh?
Oklahoma pecan pie. Keep it southern, y'all.
Yep, there you go.
Oregon, red stuffing. Not surprised
Okay.
if they don't have riots. Pennsylvania,
Yeah.
potatoes. And it's an
Pennsylvania,
assortment of
huh?
potatoes.
Okay. Interesting.
There you go. Rhode Island, pull apart bread. Ooh, that looks way good.
Is that sweet or is that regular bread?
Let's see. They say if you're smart, you might try turning your Thanksgiving stuffing into monkey bread.
Huh.
Rhode Island residents and to eat the sticky pull apart loaf either way.
Oh,
I'm gonna say
interesting.
South Carolina, sweet potato pie.
Oh, sweet potato pie is good.
South Dakota, pumpkin pie. Tennessee, sausage balls. Texas. Now, how did this become a thing?
Yeah, what's Texas?
Chicken spaghetti. They're saying chicken spaghetti.
Okay, first, now I do love chicken spaghetti. We call it cicchetti in our house. I love that, but I don't know of anybody in Texas who eats that for Thanksgiving.
I don't either.
I mean, like
turkey
literally not any. Does anybody in the crew? Now, I love cicchetti. Again, we eat that other times of the year, but that has never and would never be a thought on Thanksgiving.
Yeah, chicken spaghetti would not be my thing. Not for
Yeah.
Thanksgiving. Turkey dress isn't on the same level as Texas famed barbecue brisket, so the locals have no problem adding another meat to the Thanksgiving table in the form of chicken spaghetti. I wonder where they were at.
I don't know of anybody. I mean, and how many friends do you and I have in the state of Texas, all across the state of Texas? I don't know anybody. Please, somebody tell me if that's your thing in Texas. Again, any other time of the year, but Thanksgiving, I don't know anybody who eats that. I could go with barbecue. I actually was like, I could go with chili on Thanksgiving because I know a lot of people who make chili because they're watching the Cowboy game later in the day. Chicken spaghetti, which is, again, a great dish, but I do not have one friend or family member that eats that on Thanksgiving. Huh.
So Utah, leftovers in crescent rolls.
I'm right there with them. Amen. Right there with you. Right there with you.
Butternut squash soup in Vermont. Not surprised at all. Not at all. And that would be a good garnish dish to have with your turkey.
Yep.
Virginia, mac and cheese. I was waiting for the mac and cheese to finally surface.
Yeah. Now, I made one of your macaroni and cheese. I made a few years ago, it was Mac America Great again. It was right after the election. I made one of your macaroni and cheese recipes that was not from JP's Kitchen, mind you. Oh, my goodness. It was so good. It was a big old hit. So, yeah, I was waiting for macaroni and cheese.
Yeah. I mean, it took all the way to get to Virginia to get that. Washington is sugar cookies. Well, that's kind of fun. And West Virginia, buffalo chicken dip. There you go. Okay, appetizer. Wisconsin is shrimp. Okay, now I'm shocked by that.
Huh. Why?
Because Wisconsin shrimp, they're not anywhere near enough.
No, that's what I'm saying. Why would it be? I don't associate that food with Wisconsin in any way, shape, or form. I would think some kind of a cheese dip. Like some kind of a cheese dish or something, like a major macaroni and cheese kind of a thing. Huh.
Yeah. So Wyoming pork chops. The hungry people of Wyoming seem to think that turkey isn't quite enough to fill them up at their holiday meal, so pork chops are often on the menu as well. That's different.
Huh.
And there you go. That finishes us out state by state. I don't know if these people really have it going on.
Well, and then at some point, I think Coach or Susan or somebody said, who made the list? I'm stuck on Texas. Like, I just thought for sure Texas was gonna be some kind of I figured possibly brisket, smoked brisket, barbecued brisket, and or chili. I was not going to be surprised at either one of those, but, very surprised at the other. I just don't know anybody who eats that.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, everybody's talking
Me
about
too.
food, and it's making my mouth water.
Right. And you are correct. I do mac and cheese at my table. And I think mac and cheese is kind of a staple around the Thanksgiving table. So,
Yeah,
but I was
yeah.
surprised.
Oh,
Coach
the
Woodward
key
said
to
he never had a cat cake, but
the key to a good Thanksgiving dinner is the gravy. Yeah, if you don't have good gravy, shut it down. Like, it needs to be the kind of gravy that when it touches everything else, including the cranberry sauce on your plate, you don't mind. We have excellent gravy. My family makes excellent gravy. So,
yeah, it's funny. My sister, so I can make gravy in 5 minutes, right? And my gravy is phenomenal. My
yeah,
poor sister cannot make gravy to save her life.
there's an art to it. Not everybody can make gravy. Not everybody can make gravy. You what?
I don't think it's that hard.
That said by somebody who just is natural at it. I think you either have it down to a science and it's not, it's just an afterthought. And then usually those are the ones that are really good. Because then it's the right consistency, it's not too thick, it's not too thin. It slides on everything just right. Yeah, but that's true. A good gravy, if you don't have that, shut it down.
Yeah. That's true. Gotta have good gravy.
Fred said he's going to make chocolate cream pie, and that's just going to be all he has for Thanksgiving. I love it.
Hey, you know what? When you get to a certain age and you don't have family coming to the table, sometimes that's the best way.
There you go. Good times.
There you go. All right. Well, we have definitely done the gravy this time. We are at 8:47, and thanks for sticking with us late into the morning. But hopefully everybody had fun. And Coach Quigley said, never canned gravy.
No.
What about bottled gravy, Coach?
I guess if you had to, that it's just never the same. It doesn't have that homemade taste. There's something about good homemade gravy. Yeah, the canned, I feel like it never quite breaks up all the way. It's still kind of congealed, like you get a glop of an edge or something. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
Agree.
So very blessed I've got family who can cook. All right. Well, thank y'all and have a happy Thanksgiving. And we'll be running a couple of reruns, but we'll be back on Monday. And we love y'all. Stay tuned for Heart and Soul of Texas Women, and we will see y'all soon. Have a blessed Thanksgiving.
See y'all soon.
Hello, Patriots. I'm Abraham George, Chairman of Collin County Republican Party. I wanted to invite you to our special event on November 27th. It's a gubernatorial debate happening here in Frisco, Texas at the Embassy Suites. Then we will open at 9 a.m. and our debate will start at 10 a.m. We will have a straw poll at the end. It will be your choice, your chance to voice your opinion. Who do you want to be your next governor of Texas? I would look forward to seeing you there. Come up and sign up. Come on and sign up at carlincountygop.org. You can get your tickets, and we would love to see you there. Thank you so much.